Hello and welcome to this web development project. In this project, we'll see how to build an e-commerce website completely from scratch using React.js. So what we will do, first thing, we'll set up our project to start working with React. Then in the step 2, we will start building the components of the website, that is eShop. eShop is the name of the e-commerce website that we are going to build in this project. So the components are header, home page, checkout page, and then login page. So we'll be using React state hooks such as use reducer hook, use status, use effect hook to implement functionalities such as add to cart, remove from cart, and few other you will see in the project. We'll be discussing about state provider and reducer concepts also. And in the step 7, we'll build the login page where we can log in into the website using your username and password. And then this thing, the authentication thing, we'll be doing using the Firebase. And finally, the step 9 will deploy our app using Firebase. So these are the frameworks and technologies that you will learn in this project: React Router DOM, React Currency Format, Material UI, React Props. As I said earlier, you'll be studying about state provider and reducer, React Context API, which is very important concept in React, where we will see how to work with data. And sixth one, using React state hooks, as I mentioned earlier, Firebase for authentication, and deploying app with Firebase. So now let us see the final website that we are going to build. So this is the final website that we are going to build, our e-commerce website called eShop. So this is the nav bar, this is the home page, this is the checkout page. You will see the items that you add to your basket from your home page. For example, if I'm adding this to my basket, you can go to your basket and you can see that the product that we added. Similarly, you can add projects and you can see here in the your shopping basket, and here you will see the amount and the number of items getting updated dynamically. For example, if I remove this item from my basket, you can see the amount is getting updated dynamically. So this is the beauty of React. We need not refresh the page every time we update the code. It will happen dynamically through the help of React. And also, when we go to sign in page, you can see this beautiful sign in page where we can sign in or create your eShop account. So this thing, the process we'll be doing using Firebase for authentication. And finally, we deploy our app on Firebase so that you can share the link to your friends and colleagues and take their review on the website that you built. So we'll meet in the next video.
So in this video, we'll see how to get started with the React app. So the first thing you have to do is create a folder where you want to set up the React app. So now you can see here, I'm in my D drive, and then I created a folder called eShop. eShop will be the name of the website that we are going to build in this project. So now you can use this you can use a terminal. Basically in this project, I will be using Hyper Terminal. You can use any other terminal like command prompt in Windows, or if you are using Linux, it is fine with Linux terminal also. But why I use Hyper Terminal is because of the customizations and colors it has. And basically the IDE we'll be using is Visual Studio Code. I prefer or suggest you to use Visual Studio Code because of its extensions and snippets that are available in it. So now to get started with the React app, the first thing we have to do is go into the folder that you created, and then you have to run this command: npx create react app dot. So this will take around 2 to 3 minutes. Just be patient. So what we are doing is npx is a part of npm. Create React app is a script that is developed by the Facebook developers. So basically setting up the React project is a big task. So instead of doing all the steps and procedure, they have simply created a script which we can use. And what this dot indicates is that to create the React app inside the current folder itself, instead of creating another new folder. So that is what this line is doing. So now it will take around 2 to 3 minutes for this to complete. So once you get this text happy hacking npm start kind of thing, then it means that your React setup is successfully done. And now the final command that you have to do to start your React app running on your local host is npm start. So this will take just a few seconds, around 10 to 15 seconds. So this will start our React app on our local host at port number 3000. It will directly open in the Chrome, you no need to open it separately. So yeah, as you can see, it opened our localhost 3000 and it will start running the app. So what React developers did is that they created a default template for the React app, so that when the React app starts, you will see a React symbol. Yeah, so this is the template they have created, but we don't want this thing, right? We have to start from scratch. We want a plain white window. So what I'll do is I will delete all the boilerplate code that React developers gave us. So basically you can delete all of them. So basically I only need app.js, app.css, index.js, index.css and index.html. Even in the index.html you can create all the boilerplate that is not required. I'm deleting everything. I'll give the title as eShop website as title. And you can go to app.js and then delete the boilerplate that is not required at all. Deleting everything over here since we want a fresh white page. So yeah, once you delete everything, so there is a error over here, logo.svg source. I think we are using it somewhere, yeah, here. So we have to delete this line. So finally you can see we got a fresh white color page so that we can start building our app. So this is how your React app should look like when you're getting started. Just app.css, app.js, index.css and index.js files without any boilerplate code. So now from the next video onwards, we can start building our app. So in this video, we'll see how to start creating the header of our website. So the final header will look like this: the eShop title, the search bar, sign in for login and authentication, and your basket item where you can find the checkout items and the checkout amount. So this header part we are going to build in this video. So basically we are going to build this complete header. So now we are going to divide this header into 3 divisions. So the first division is header logo. The second division will be header search bar. And the third division will be header navigation. So inside the header navigation, we'll be having another 3 divisions. One is for the sign in and one is for the your shop icon and the other one is for basket icon and the amount. So basically this is what we are going to build. Okay. So here we are now inside our class name app div. So inside our app, we are going to create a header component. So as you know, in React, we'll be dealing with components. So we'll separate the whole website into components. For example, this header will be one component and then the home page will be a component and this individual product will be a component. So how to pass data from one component to other as props and also use the reducer hooks for that purpose using the React context API. We'll see everything. So this is how the page will look like. So first when going to header, so we are going to create the first div, that is the header logo. So let me create the first div. So I created the first div, header logo. So the shortcut I'll be using Emmet. Emmet is a tool that will be helping us easily to create divisions with class names. For example, I want to create a class name called temporary. So I have to use dot temporary and then click enter. So it will automatically create a division with the class name temporary. So to enable this, we have to follow 3 steps. So you have to follow these 3 steps. You have to open in VS Code, you have to click Ctrl plus comma if you are in Windows, or command plus comma in Mac. So I'll click control plus comma. You will see this window opening, and in search settings, search for Emmet. So when you go item, you will find Emmet include languages. You have to click on add item, and in the item place add JavaScript, and in the value place add JavaScript React as mentioned over here. So when you apply these rules and then click Control Shift P and then reload your window. Once you reload your window, you can use the Emmet shortcuts for building this. So okay, now I have created a div for header logo. Now I'll create a div for header search bar. So as you can see, we have to now create for header search bar. Let me create it. Dot header search. Okay. So there is a error with the positioning. Yeah. So I have to once search for the settings thing. Let me go to settings once again. Follow these 3 steps that I showed you here. I'll add item, that is JavaScript. So as you can see, I lost the settings when I reloaded. So I will add JavaScript and JavaScript React in the value so that I can use the shortcut. Click on OK, and then you have to close this and once reload the page. Now you can see you can use the shortcut. So now I'll be creating a header search div dot header search, and then click enter. You can see we are getting a div that is automatically created. So we have created 2 divs. Now I want to create a navigation div. To create this div, as I showed you, I'll be creating this div now. So that will be header nav. Header nav. Now inside header nav, we are going to create 3 divisions. Okay, that will be item divisions, right? So nav item div, I'll be creating these 3 divs for 3 items. So now in each item, as you can see, in each item we are having 2 lines. One is hello guest sign in, your shop, and then here in basket, and then a integer value. So we have to again create 2 spans, right? So I'll be creating a span. What span does is, it's a default inline block which will take the exact amount of space that the content within it has. So instead nav div, I'll create a span with class name as nav item line 1. Okay, and then I'll give it a name like hello guest, and then again the same procedure I'll be doing. Nav item line 2 sign in. So this will be the first item. The same I'll copy in the rest of the divs as well. So yeah, so you have to change this thing. I'll be creating your, and then here it will be shop. So here we will have a basket, and then the integer, for example, let me say 0. So now what we'll do is, inside of basket, we'll be using a basket image. So we want this image, right? We'll be using this image, basket image. So how to get basket image? For this, we'll be using material UI. So let me go to material UI. So material UI you have to install using this command. So material UI is a React technology or framework you can call, where we can get icons and images like stuff. So now how to install it? I'll be going to the terminal. I'll be in the folder, like since there is we are running the app in the terminal, I'll be using another terminal. I'll be going to new terminal. In my D drive, I'll be going to eShop. So now I have to follow these two commands of code. As you can see, npm install material UI core. And then once it gets installed, you have to install icon, material UI icon. So once you install a material UI core, now you have to install npm I means install, in the rate material UI icons. So this will install the icons, and now we have to search for icons. So we'll be searching for icons here. And then you can search over for icons, components, box, you will have inputs, navigation, surfaces, feedback, data display utils. So you go through the documentation, style, system, everything. So now here I'll be searching for, we want a basket icon, right? Shopping basket in the material icon session. So I'll be clicking on that. So you can see, you can find many basket items, like you're getting this. I can search for icons over here. So yeah, I've got two icons, one is sports basket and the other is shopping basket. We'll be using this shopping basket icon. So as you can see, we can import this shopping basket just with the line of, with this one single line. So this is the beauty of material UI. We can import whatever icons we want with a single line. So as you can see, we can also add the attributes when we are using this. We can use props such as font size large, font size medium, or font size small. So let me import this first. So yeah, my installation successful. So I can now import it. I have to import it in the app.js. Yeah. So now I can use this shopping basket icon over instead of basket. So I'll be using it here. Shopping basket icon. So I'll be using font size is equals to large. So yes, that's it. So with this, we can create a shopping basket icon, and then I've created the 3 items, and then so let us see how our website is looking like. So you can see everything is created, but it is not in the correct styling manner, right? So now we have to add CSS to the components. And also I'll in the logo also I'll be using a, like this symbol that I am using here, the store symbol, right? So I'll search for the store symbol. So you can see there are so many store fronts. I'll be using this thing. Just copy this, and then you can paste it over here. And in the header logo, you can directly call this shopping storefront icon. So that's it. With this, we'll be done with the navbar, the HTML coding part. Now we have to do the CSS part. So here I'll give this a class name as header logo image, and font size will be large. Here no need to use font size large because it is a navbar item. Only the logo should be large, and the remaining icon should not overshadow those. Once you give this, and then I'll give a h2 tag with class name as header logo title, right? And the title will be eShop. So once you save and you look at the website, you can see like we have got everything, the content we need in the header, as you can see, but we have to style it. Okay. So now in search what I'll do is we need a form, right? Like a header search icon. So I'll take a input over here. Input type will be text and class name will be header search input. You can give any class name, just I'll prefer to use these kind of class names because it will give me more detail about what I am doing. And then I need this search icon, right? It's present over here, this search icon. So I'll go to Material UI, just find the search icon. Okay, I have to do it here. You can see this search icon over here. You can directly import it like this and then use the icon over here. Yeah. With class name as, I'll give this class name so that we can style this header search icon. Yeah. So now we are done with the HTML part. Now we have to style this. All the classes we have to style. We have to target them inside the app.css. So as I said before, we'll deal with components. So we have to use the header thing in a component. So I'll create a header component. Header.js. Okay, I have to rename it. Yeah, header.js. And then I'll create a header.css file. I'll be using the snippets of Visual Studio Code for easy creation of the function and the export default. So the remaining I can import React from React and header.css. So once we're done, we can copy and paste the whole code over here. For example, the header, from the header thing, we can create a div class here with the title header. Okay, and then we can paste the whole code that is present over here from header logo to end in header.js. Yeah, so that's good enough. So once we completed this, we can just call the header over here. And then import the header. Import header from /header. And then this icons will be using in header, so I'll be importing these icons over here. So there's error. Okay, there is no error. So we have completed the successful creation of the component. Now we'll see the styling part. In the header.css, what I need to do is I have to style each and every element so that to give the look like this. So I'll be, so since so this is a React project, we'll be dealing mostly with React concepts rather than styling. So I'll give you what styles, like these styles will be trial and error, like the position, the top index, the display, the border, the padding. You have to basically trial and error which suits the best UI possible, and you have to do that. So I already prepared this project, so I will be using the CSS files already that I have been used, and I'll explain what is happening in the CSS, and our concentration will be more on the React part. So now I completed the CSS part. So what we have to do is we have to give the class names to the basket icons and the count that we are using over here. So this class will be item basket, so that we can style it properly. And then here in the line 2, it is also in the future when we are doing checkout page, we have to update this dynamically. So instead of the item line 2, we have to give it another class also, that is basket count. app basket count. It can be, you can name it anything, but you have to make sure that the class that you use naming over here, you have to use the same class in header.css. So now once we'll take a look at the header.css file. So I have styled the elements over here. So basically the header will be height of 60 and display flex. So what this display flex will be doing is, so I'll explain this to you. So as you can see, we are done with the header. So basically when we don't use display flex, the elements inside the div will be getting stacked in a column, like in a column wise thing, like one below the other. But when we use this display flex, all the items will be beside each one another like this. So this is what the flex makes. If you use the flex direction as column, this is what it happens. If you use the display as flex and don't mention any flex direction, this will the stacking order will be. Okay. So now I use display flex here, so that inside the header class, all the divisions will be stacked one beside the other. So everything, all the divisions are one beside the other. Okay, the header logo, I gave a color, I gave display flex. So I gave display flex because if you go to header logo, there are two divisions, there are two items, one is logo and one other is h2. So we want both of them beside each another. So if we give flex, they will be beside one another. If you don't give flex, we'll see what happens. And then if I comment this out, now as you can see, they both are one below the other. So the flex is very important. We'll be using it multiple times. Okay. So, and then the logo image, I gave a margin, logo title with the text decoration as none and border. Okay. Header search, display flex, and then flex will be 1. This is the index that you can give as a factor. Align item center, border radius, search input. So these are all default, like the trial and error thing you have to search and do. Yeah, so header nav item I gave flex because there are two things inside the nav item. I have to give flex and I have to mention the flex direction as column. See, because if I don't give this as column, let me comment this line out, there will be one beside the another, but we don't want one beside another, we want like both of them one below the other. So I have to give flex direction as column, so that we'll get one below the another. So and then item line 1 font size, item line 2 there will be a font size and font weight. Item basket, as you can see, display flex, align item. So these are everything, margin left and right, these colors, it will be on the stylistic choice that you make. So this is the basic, like the implementation of the header using React components and as well as HTML and CSS. So in the next video, we'll see how to design the home page and the products, each product component and the home component, how to get this image, background image over here, and the product component, how to pass data from one component to another using procs. We'll see in the future videos. So that's it for the video. Hello and welcome to the video. So now in the previous video, we have seen how to implement the header section of the web page. In this video, we'll see how to implement the home page and the products that are present in the home page. So there is one small correction from the last video. In the last video, I have given this class name to the icon. So basically we'll prefer, since the cart is combination of both icon and this basket count, so we have to give the class to the division that these both elements are present in. So that's why I've changed the class name from here to here. I gave the class name to the div, and the style is same as before. The item basket and item basket count, both are of same styles. So yeah, so this is what the change from the last video is. Now moving on to today's video. So now let us create the home page. So as I said, in React we work with components. I have completed the header component. So after the header component, I will be having home component, right? So let me create a home component. So basically I have to create a component over here, home.js, and then style home.css. Just go to home.js, and then I'll be using the snippets. So you can see, now you can import the React from React. and then import the style sheet of home. Okay, now we are good to go. In app.js, I have to import home component. Yeah. Now it's done. So now inside the home.js, as you know, like there is a image over here and then multiple products. Like these products are also, there are 2 in one row, 3 in the other row, 1 in the other row. Okay, so now we'll see how we will do that. So first we have to create a div called home. Okay, inside this home div we'll be having everything. So inside this I will create another div called home container, which contains the image and the products, the everything the home contains. So dot home container. So it's created. So now inside the home container we'll be having image. So what image we should have? So image with the class name of home image. So how to select the source of the image? As you can see, if I see what source it has, I'll be using this image. So you can use any image, that's up to you. You can change the height and width in your CSS page. So I'll be using this image. The source will be this, and the alternate I will leave it, and the class name will be home image. Yeah, so good to go. Image, and then the closing tag is done. Okay, now after the image I will be having rows. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the first row where we have 2 products, and in the second row we are having 3 products, and in the third row we are having 1 product. So we can have as many rows as we want. So now I will create rows. Once the image is done, can create the rows. Dot home row. You click enter. So you can create as many rows as you want. I'll be creating 3 rows. Yeah, so now that's fine. So inside each row we'll be having multiple products. So for example, in the first row I want, as you can see, I want 2 products in the first row. So I'll be using 2 product components. And in the second row, in the first row only I want 2 products, so I'll be using 2 product components. And then similarly you can repeat as how many products you want. I want 3 products here, and then 1 product over here. That will do good for me. Yeah. So yeah, I've created products. So now what to do? As I created the product component, I have to create the component in my source, right? So I'll create product.js and product.css. Let me create product.css. So yeah, done. So in the home I have to import. So these imports things like it's manual, you have to do every time you create components and thing. So this is basically the stuff you have to do every time. So that's import product. Yeah, so inside product you can basically use the snippet. And then import React and CSS file. Okay, cool. So now once we are done with it, now we have to write as you can see how our web page looks like is. So this is how our web page looks like, because as of now there is nothing in the product. So we'll go and edit this product.js file. So inside the product.js, I have to return a div called product. Okay. So inside this product, like as you can see over here, it consists of three things: the image, the button, the info, and also the rating. So basically this is the product info, this is the product rating, this is the product image, and this is the product basket. So now I'll be creating each and every one of them. So first thing we have to create is product info. Yeah. So inside the product info, we'll have a p tag, that is title of the product, and then another p tag, the class name will be product price. So here product price, let me give some $30 like that. Yeah. So this will be the p tag. Those, like as you can see, the title is this and the product amount is this. After that, we'll be having a product rating div. Okay. Inside the product info only, we'll be having a dot product rating div. There's a typo over here. You can make it, yeah. So inside the product rating, let me give, I'll use like stars for this purpose. So let me, so as you can see, where the stars are, you can check. It's not over here, it's not over here. I'm not able to find them. Yeah. So you can find where the stars will be. Here I am not able to find them. Like let's search over here. Oh, there are no stars. Yeah, I got them. So this is the star I'll be using. Let me use some 3 stars over here. Yeah, 2 stars will be fine. So this will be the project rating. So after the product info, so now we are done with the product info part. Now we have to have the product image. So after the info, we'll be having image with source. Like let me use this image as the source only. I'll get the URL like this and then I'll be pasting it over here. So alt you can like just give a product image like that if you want, but it's not necessary. So after the image, we'll be having the button. So the button will be like add to basket. Okay. So this is basically the product we have created. So let us see. Yeah. So we got, see, as you can see, title, rupees 30, this thing, and the product image. So now as this looks ugly, we have to do the CSS styling part. So as I said before, the styling part, you don't need to concentrate on the styling part. You can just go through what's happening in the styling part, and you can use the trial and error method to see what styles is suitable for the page or product or any other component. Our basic motto is to learn React concepts and how to working with React, not the CSS part. Okay, so I'll be doing the CSS and I'll show you. So as you can now see, I've completed the product.css, home.css, and index.css with the styling part. So let us see one by one. In product.css, for the product div, the display item should be flex, so that one will be beside the other. So every product should come one after the other, right, in a given row. So the flex direction is column. So here in the product div, the flex division is column because in each product, like if you see home.css, the home will be display flex because everything should be one below the other, the products and the home, all the divs present. But in the products, it should be one below the other for the flex direction, because if we are having here the title, below the price should come, and then below the price we should have the product rating, and then the product image, and then the add to button. So they should be in a column format, and then the justify content flex, and you can like, and all this margin, padding, width, max height, minimum height, this will be by the trial and error method. You have to just check. For example, if I give margin as 2 pixels, you have to see what's happening to your website. See, there is no space between each another, and it looks ugly. So I have to give 10 pixels so that you can see that there is more space between products. So and then display product rating should be flex, because inside the product heading there are two elements. One is the dollar symbol and other is the price. So as you can see in product.js, I have did a small correction inside the product price class. What I did is I gave the dollar sign a different element that is small, and then the 30 will be strong. Okay, we can use these kinds of elements to make the page look more beautiful. And then yeah, so again, if you follow the CSS file, the image will have certain styling. You can see object dot. So what this object dot fit content does is that it will not change the image resolution if we change the width and height of the image. So the resolution will be maintained. So product dot button has some background color. The border color will be three different colors. Price will have a margin top, and the info will have a height and margin. So this is what the product CSS is. And home.css, you have to add this styling. So the home, the elements are in a flex, and home image has some width, z index. So now the z index -1 means, as you can see here, the image is underneath the product session. So if we give z index as -1, the products will appear on the image, and margin bottom -50. If you give this as 0, you can see the products came down a little bit. After the image, the products will appear. That's why I will give -50 pixels to make the, see, as you can see, the products went up. So this is the change. And then mask image linear gradient, like the image will be gradient from top to bottom. The color gets lightened down as you want over here. So yeah, and then home row display will be flex, z index 1. As I said, the rows should be above the image, so that's why z index is 1, and then margin left and margin right. So in the index.css, you have to add one line, that is the background color white. So in product.css, you gave the color to the products as white. This is not exactly white, this is some grayish type of color, as you can see over here. So this is what it should look like basically. So with this, like we can see we have hard coded the products thing. We gave everything the same title, the same image, and the same button. So now in the next video, we'll see how to get data dynamically using props. Like for the same product component, how to get different data using props. That we'll see in the next video. So in this video, we'll see how to get dynamically data from the components. So as you can see here, we have like each and every product component has some different data. So how to use the same component for different data. So here comes the concept of props. So what we'll do is, in the home.js, when we are calling product, we'll send some props to it. Okay. So that we can use the props, we can catch the props in the product.js file and use them. So how to send these props? So the props will be like a key value pair, but instead of colon, it will be a equal to symbol. So basically, I'm sending a title for it. Okay, the title will be, as you can see, it will be okay. The first prop, the title will be the same thing. So I'll be sending this title. There shouldn't be any comma or colon. It is similar, like you are giving like in the HTML elements. If you are having like multiple attributes, we'll separate them using space. So it's simply like this is a HTML tag that we are creating customly. Okay, so the custom HTML tags also we are sending some attributes such as those attributes are called as props. So there shouldn't be any comma or any colon or anything. Just the attribute name and the value, like the key value pair with the equal to sign. And then after title, I'll be sending the price. So when we are sending a value, or when we are sending some other than text, when we want to send a value or a function, we have to send it in JavaScript object. So inside HTML, if we want to send a JavaScript object, we have to use curly braces. So now I'll send the price like 11.96, and the rating will be 5. And then the image itself. So I'll be sending the image URL. The image URL will be the same thing over here. So when we are sending props, like when we are using the same component for different with different attributes, we need to send an ID. Like every product should be unique, so we have to pass an ID. So we can give any ID, like that should be unique for all the components that you use in the page. So I'll be giving this ID 1232134 1. Yeah, cool. So with this, we have completed the props part. So the second product, the third product, the fourth product, similarly, we can give whatever title we want, the price, the rating, and image. So yeah, I'll do that. So now as you can see, I gave props to each and every product. Like for each and every product, I gave a unique ID, I gave different title, different price, different rating, and then different image. So now, but if you see the website, there is nothing difference, like everything is of the same product, like the same product is there. So how to change this? Basically here we are only sending the data but not like using the data. So here what we have to do is we have to catch the data, the attributes that we got. So basically I will use the props. So instead of directly taking the props, I will destructure the object here itself. So when we destructure the object, we have to open curly braces and then the key names. So the key names are ID, title, price, rating, image. So when we destructure the object, we have to use the same names as that of the attribute key names. So that will be title, ID, title, image, price, and rating. So we have to use them inside this thing. So inside the p graph, I'll be using title. So as I said, when we use JavaScript objects or JavaScript variables, we have to open in curly braces. So this will be title, and the product price here it will be a dollar symbol, and then the price. We'll come to the rating, like we'll see how to give number of stars based on the given number. So we'll do the rest of the things. The image, as you can see, the image will be in the format of string, so we can send directly the image URL. So once you check that, now you can see like the title, the price, and the image are changed dynamically using props, but the stars are two for the same, like the stars are same for each and every product. So now we'll see how to create the stars based on the rating number, the integer that we get. So basically here what we have to do is we'll create an array of rating. So since we are creating an array, it is a JavaScript object, so we have to use it in curly braces. So I'll create an array with rating, and I'll fill each and everything of the array. I will map through individual items. I'll use the arrow function. Yeah. It will be a p tag with a single star. Yeah, now I can find the star immediately. It will be with a single star. So yeah, cool. So now what I did is I created an array. I fill each and every, to fill the whole array, we have to use the dot fill method, and through mapping, like inside this you don't need anything like underscore or I. Without this also it will work, but for like the basic structure will be like this. So I am using the underscore means each and every item of the array, and the I means the integer. The two parameters will be the item and the integer. So everything I have to fill it with a paragraph star. So as you can see here. So now if you check, the ratings are dynamic. Like if I give the number 5 in the props, like if you see in the home.js, I have sent rating as 5 to the first product, rating as 4 to the second product, and you can see rating 5 to the first product, rating 4 to the second product. So this is how, like, now we are done with our home page with a header section and the home section with products, everything with the information of the product sending dynamically from components using the props. And then I destructured the object over here, and then I did a array.fill method .map method for the project rating. So you can see this is how with this we complete the home page, and from the next video we'll see how to start building our the checkout page. If we click on this basket, we have to get a checkout page with the products and then the total price. So we'll see that in the next video. So in this video we'll see how to create the checkout page and then use React Router DOM for the React routing. So now let us go to our Visual Studio Code, create a checkout component, will be checkout.js, and then create a styles page for that, checkout.css, and inside checkout.js I will be using the snippet. So I have to import this React and then import the styles, the style sheet. So inside the div I will be creating a hello world type h1, hello world. So nothing in the style sheet. So this is like we have created the checkout.js, but how to route our React page to the checkout? Like if we click over here, how to go to the checkout page? So now we'll download something called React Router DOM using the npm package. Okay. So I'll be opening a new terminal. npm React DOM, React Router DOM. So this npm package basically helps us for the React routing purpose. Oh, okay, I forgot the install command, npm I React Router DOM. So this will take a few seconds. So now let us use, before it gets installed, let us use that in our home.js, app.js. So as you can see, the header and home, we are having the components. So when user goes to like /checkout page, we have to render the checkout component. So instead of rendering the checkout component, it's still rendering the same HTML page, like with the header component and the home component. So how to do that? So we'll be using this, we'll be importing the browser router from React Router DOM. As router. So we'll be using three things: router, route, and switch. From React Router DOM. So as you can see over here, we'll check whether the installation is, the installation is completed. So we can use them. So now what I will do is, so inside the app, I'll initialize my router. So router. So inside the router, there will be a switch case. Like it's like a basic switch case in your programming like concepts. So for each route, we'll be implementing different components. So that's why we'll be using the switch over here. Okay, it is using this switch. Yeah. So inside the switch, like now you can use the different routes. So for example, I want route for path. So you have to mention the path attribute over here. The path will be checkout. So for checkout route, I want to render header and my checkout component. So the header is like basically we'll have for everything. So I have to render my header and then I'll render my checkout. That is the hello world thing. Okay. So we have done with the first route. So now the second route will be our home route. So remember one thing, the home route should come at the last of all routes. So if you give the home route first for everything, it will render the home route itself. So route, then the path will be home. So now we'll basically cut this header and home and we'll paste it over here. So let me like do this spacing thing. Yeah. So basically we have created routes, the switch part, and then the router part. We have implemented this. So now as you can see, checkout is not defined. So we haven't imported checkout here. So I have to import the checkout component. So now as you can see, when we are in the /checkout URL, can see the header and then the checkout component are rendering, the header and the checkout. If I go to my home, like that is the local host, you can see header and this thing rendering. So now what we are left with is that when we click on this basket item, then we have to render the /checkout page, right? So how to do that? We'll be using the same link that we'll get from React Rotterdam. So basically we have to go to header.js and then import the link that we get from React Rotterdam. Import link from React Rotterdam. So once we import it, you have to go to the nav item division basket and then use link over here. So inside the link, we have to mention where to go, like the path we mentioned in the route, we have to mention the to over here. So to checkout /checkout, that means this is relative to the root div. The root URL is the localhost 3000. So it is relative to that. So localhost 3000 /checkout. So it will locate there. And then when we use whenever we use link, it will give the default style of underline. So to remove the underline, we'll be giving the custom style over here. The style should be in the object format. So inside the JavaScript curly braces, to use JavaScript, we have to send another object. So I'll be using another object. Text decoration will be none. So yeah. So now inside this we have to keep this div. So yeah. So we are done with it. So now when you go to your home page and when you click on the checkout this div, you can see the checkout page being rendered. And now if you want to go back, we have to click on the icon, so that if we click on the icon, we'll go back to the original page. So it's the same thing. We have to use link over there in the header logo session, the header div. I'll be using that. So I'll be using a link to / and then the, as you know, style will be a custom JavaScript object with text decoration as none. And then I'll be copy pasting this div inside this. So yeah. So with this, when you click on the eShop thing, it is going back to the home page, and if you click on the basket item, it is going to the checkout page. So with this, we have completed the routing and the linking of different components. So now in the next video, we'll see how to create this checkout page, like not the hello world thing, and how do we get your products that you added to the cart, and then the total price of the products present. So that we'll see in the next video. In this video, we'll see how to build this checkout page, the products that you added to the cart, and then this proceed to checkout component. So we'll see how to build that. So first thing we have to do is we have to create a checkout.js that we did in the previous video, and instead of hello world, now we'll be doing the main thing that we want to do. So firstly, this division name should be checkout. The class name should be checkout. And then the inside div, as you can see over here, we are having two divisions. One is the left side div, which contains the shopping basket, and then the right side contains the amount to be paid and this checkbox and the proceed to checkout button. So we divide it into two divisions. One is the left div and another is the right div. So now let me create a div called checkout left and then dot checkout right. Okay. So now inside left, what all we should have, what all we need to have. If you can see over here, we are having a image with this URL, and then your shopping basket H2 or H1 or H3, what you prefer. and then a product component, right? So now first we'll be implementing each and everything. So first we need image with class name of checkout ad. Ad means advertisement. So if I create it, it is asking for source. So let me use this image as the source. So yeah, so we have completed doing the image. So after the image, there is a h2 like there is a h2 your shopping basket h2 that we want. So I'll be creating a new div after the image, and then we'll be using this h2 with class name of checkout title. This will be your shopping basket. So after the h2, we need to have after the h2 we need to have products, right? So it will be different products, like we'll be having this product, and we can have the various products that we want. But now we'll do the like the static purpose. We'll be using the same product for everything. So let me create a component called checkout product. So once we create any component for the checkout product, we have to create the file in there. File will be checkout product.js, and then we have to create a CSS file, checkout product.css. So once we create them, we have to just do the basic step that we do every time. Product.css. So inside this checkout product, it's basically the products that we use in the product.js component. So I'll be copying the same thing over here. The same div I'll copy. Yeah. So here instead of product, we'll be having the checkout product class. Here we don't need to have this div. Okay. So product will be checkout product instead of product. The class name, and then checkout instead of product info. Like basically we have to change the order. Here in the home page, as you can see, we'll be having title and then the rating and then the image. But over here we'll be having the different thing, like the first title and then the logo. But on the left side we'll be having image, and on the right side we'll be having this multiple things. So how to do that? So basically we have to change the order. So instead of like we'll do it from scratch, like okay. So yeah, checkout product. After checkout product, we'll have an image. So image with class name checkout product image. So the source will be, I'll be using this image source as I said before. This one, this image. So let me copy the URL. Yeah. So after the image, I'll be creating a div for product info. So inside the product info, I'll be having a checkout product title, I'll be having the price, and then the checkout product rating. So as you can see, we'll be having checkout product title, and then inside it, for example, let us have this title itself. So basically this is not a div tag, this will be the p tag. Returning this div and then the checkout div. So there's error over here. Yeah, we have to close the p tag, right? So I'll be closing the p tag. So now we are good to go. So after the checkout product title, now we'll be having price. Price will also be a p tag. So inside the price, like we can use the similar thing that we used before, that is dollar. And then instead of dynamic, we'll first do the hard coding part. I'll be using some $20. So once we create the price, we can now the rating thing. We can do the rating thing. So for the rating, I'll be creating another div. Checkout product rating. Inside this, I can use the same array format, but as of now, we are creating the hard coding part. I'll be using only the simply star thing. So yeah, that's good to go. And then once we are done with the rating thing, like we can add a button called remove from basket after this div. After the product info and everything, we can have the button called remove from basket. So this will be the checkout project, and inside the checkout.js, I will be calling the checkout product. So now if we see the page, we are getting a that checkout product is not defined in checkout.js. Basically, we have to import the checkout.product component. Import checkout product from checkout component. So yeah, if you refresh, you can see like we have got the image, we have got the shopping basket title, and then a project. But as you can see, we haven't gotten the exact thing that we want, like the styling thing. So we have to do the styling thing, and now we will do the right side, the right component. So the checkout right. So basically what we should have. So now here we will be using a package from npm, that is the subtotal package. So we can use the subtotal like, so this will be the subtotal component that we will create here, and then inside the subtotal component we'll be using the React currency format npm package. So basically let me create a div called subtotal. Okay, so inside the subtotal I need to create, since I created the component, I have to create the files over here. So let me create them. Subtotal.js and then subtotal.css. So once we are done, we have to go here, we have to import the snippet. Import React. And then we have to import the style page. So inside this subtotal thing, we'll be using the currency format component that we get from the React currency format package. So let us first install the package. Let me first npm install React currency format. So let that get installed. So here we have to import the subtotal as we are using it. Import subtotal from subtotal.js. So this will clear the error. Yeah, we are not getting any other. So now we have to check whether the package is installed. So we can use the inside the subtotal, we can import the currency format. So currency format is a pre-described component that is present in the React currency format package that we installed recently. So I'll use that. So once we imported, we can use that. So inside the div name will be, class name will be subtotal. And then we can use the currency format. Yeah, currency format. We can close it. It will be self-closing. So the beauty of the currency format is it has some like predefined attributes that we can use. So now I'll be typing a part of the code that you have to understand. Like, it is not difficult to understand. You can it's a self-understanding part. So render text value, I'll be using a anonymous function over here. So subtotal will be like, let us say 0 items. Strong, let me give the value as $0. Like, this is like we are just hard coding it. So I'll be giving these kinds of stuff, and then we'll be creating a small thing with class name subtotal.gift. So this is the checkbox that you have seen recently when I opened the project. And inside this, I'll be having an input of type will be checkbox, and then this order contains a gift. So after completing, I will basically close the tags. So once we do this, like after that, we can, this is one prop that we are sending, the render text, the text that we want inside the currency format. And after that, we want to specify the different attributes like decimal scale. Decimal scale will be around 2. And then value will be, let us say 0. So as I said, when we are defining the attributes, we no need to give any colon or semicolon thing. Display type will be text. Thousand separator is true, so that we can see the thousands and 10,000s clearly. Prefix will be the dollar that we used just above. So these are the props that I am sending. So what this will do is this will render this text that we are sending over here with this by applying these attributes. Okay. So now once you check what your page is right now, you can see there is is not defined. So let me go just let me give as of now I will not give any prefix. So yeah, as you can see the React currency format over here, but there is nothing as we want because there are no styles that are given as of now. So now let us do the styling part. Like we have to style the subtotal.css, the checkout product.css, and also the subtotal.css. So we have to style these 3 things. We'll do that now. So I've done the styling part. So one thing you have to change over here is previously I have just given this class name as product_info. So change that to checkout product_info. like this. So yeah, so once we go to checkout.css, I gave the checkout.css a display flex because I want everything side by side inside the checkout. The left component and the right component I want side by side, and I add with the width and margin bottom, the title and the checkout left. So now the checkout left flex direction is column because I want every product one below the other instead of beside. So that's why I've given the checkout underscore left, the display direction as column, the flex direction as column. So basically this is like, if you don't understand flex direction, the flex, the simple logic is all, for example, if you are giving the flex to a div, that means all the child div will be aligned in this format. So as you can see inside the checkout.js, the checkout left has image and a div. So the image and the div will be aligned one after the other, one below the other. So that is what I want. The h2 and the checkout product, I want one below the other. So that is why I will be using the, since I want all the child items to get one below the other, I will be using the display as the flex direction as column. If you don't want, if you want one beside the other, you have to just avoid this, avoid writing this line. That is what you have to basically remember. So after you're done with checkout.css, I'll be going to checkout product.css. So this is similar that we did in product.css, like the checkout product info. This everything you can go through the code. Basically simple. Object fit content, I said to not disturb the resolution of the image, to fit the image. And then if you go to subtotal.css, again the flex direction, width and everything, the background color. Subtotal GIF, that is the checkbox, will be having something. The input will have a margin right of 5 pixels, and then the button styling, everything. So once you are done with it, if you open your project, you can see like you are getting the shopping basket, you are getting a product, and then the right you are having this. It's pretty clean, right? The header and the, if you click on this eShop, it will go to the home page. If you click on the basket, it will be going here. And if you want to add multiple products, you can basically do this thing. Go to checkout.js. Instead of one checkout product, if you want multiple checkout products, you can do that simply. So yeah, you are getting one below the other. Since the flex direction is column, if you did not give the flex direction as column, they might be very clumsy, like one beside the other, and it will mess up the React project. So this thing you have to remember. So with this, we have hard coded the the checkout page. So now the most important thing is how to add this add to basket and remove from basket functionality. So when you click on add to basket, you have to see the one item in the cart. If you multiple click, you have to see 2-3 items. If you are adding 3 items, then if you click on this, you want the items that you added to the basket rather than the hard coded products. And also based on the product, you have to see the total amount and the total items. So basically we have done with the hard coding, and the next thing is a very important and a difficult step to understand, the state provider, the reducer hooks, and using the state hooks and everything. So that we'll see in the next video how to implement the add to cart and remove from basket functionality. Hello and welcome to the video. So in this video, we'll see how to implement the remove from cart and add from cart functionality. So as you can see here, when I'm clicking on add to basket, the cart division is getting updated with the number of items in the basket. So now once you go to the checkout page, you can see the items that I added to the cart, and you can see the price getting dynamically updated and the number of items over here. So if I click remove from basket, you can see the price getting updated and also the number of elements over here and over here. So basically we'll see how to implement this feature in our website. Basically we'll use reducer hooks for this purpose, and also use state hooks. So firstly, to start with the project, we have to open the code, and then we have to create a file called stateprovider.js. So basically how to do this add to cart and remove from cart functionality. So if you can see here, basically we are having our home page like this with header, and then with like some products image over here, and then some products, right? The products have buttons. So when we click on the button, we want this product details to be sent to the checkout page. Okay. So to send the data of this product to the checkout page, we'll not send it directly. Like for example, estimate a cloud over here, like a data layer. So we'll be sending the product details to this data layer, and you can use the data that is present in the data layer from any component. So I can use from the checkout page component, or from the header component, or inside checkout page. As you can see, inside checkout page I have products over here and then the amount. So you can use the data over here in this component or here in this component. So once you push the data into the data layer, you can use it from any component. So this is what we'll do with the state provider. Okay. So let me erase this. Okay. So in state provider, we'll basically prepare the data. So first thing we have to do is import the packages. Create context, use context, and use reducer. So basically, what do you mean by create context and like use context? So this is where the React context API comes in. So context provides us a way to pass data through the component tree without having to pass props down manually at every level. So like as I said before, if you want to send this data to any component, we have to pass, like for example, if I want to send this to the checkout product, like over here, so then I have to implement everything, like I have to send the props to the below component and then the props to the below component. So it's like a tree level. You have to send the props to every until it reaches the down level. So instead of that, to access the data from a certain area, from every component, to access it from every component, we'll use this context. So we have to create a context for the state context. So basically that is what we'll be doing here. Once we import these things, so we'll be creating the context. We'll be exporting it at the same time while creating. So this creates the data layer. Okay, so basically we are preparing the data layer. Prepares the data layer. Now we have to wrap our app and provide the data layer, right? So we have to wrap our app and provide the data layer with the data. For this we have to do export const state provider. So we'll be using the arrow function over here. So this is basically the boilerplate code that we have to use for every React project. Okay, so like this will be the boilerplate code. So what I'll complete the code and tell you what the complete code will do. Value should be use reducer. We have to use the reducer hook. Okay, it came in caps. So reducer and then initial state. Instead this will have the children. So once we are done with this, we have to pull the information from the data layer to use it from various components, right? So this line of code is to pull information from the data layer. So this is the boilerplate code that you have to use for every product when you are dealing with the state providers. So what the whole code does is, it will import the reducer, use reducer soup that are needed to implement the functionality that we want, and prepares the data layer, so that whenever we use the reducer, the arguments that the reducer has, that is the current state and dispatch method, to alter the current state. So basically we'll be getting all the features that are necessary to build this data layer and to push the information into the layer, and then pull back the information from the layer. So once we did this, we have to create a file called reducer.js. And in reducer.js, here we'll be building all the application code. We define all the application level states and define actions to make that state changes. Changes to the state. Yeah. So here we have to first export the initial state. So this is also the boilerplate code that you have to use for every project. Don't worry if you don't understand it. It basically creates the data layer, and it will get the basic functionality that we want to use. So this will be a empty array of basket, where we'll store all the products that are pushed into the data layer and retrieve the products from that data. So now we'll be using the selector. So as I said, with the reducer, we'll get two arguments, that is state and action. So this state has the current state of our data layer, and then action to make the changes to the state. This will be a arrow function. And then here we can perform the methods that we want to do. So basically, I'll be using this thing in my checkout.js or in product.js, where we have when we click on add to basket, we have to call a function that makes changes to the state. So we'll see how to do that. So after that, we have to export reducer. So once we did that, we have to go to product.js. Okay. And then when we click on the basket, like on click, we have to call a function, right? So we'll do that. So on click is an attribute of the button. It will call a function when the button is pressed. So on click, as I am calling a function, it is a JavaScript function, so I have to use curly braces. So I'll be calling a add to basket function. So where we have to define the function, we'll define in this function product only. So as I'm working with state provider and reducer, I have to import them first. So I'll import use state value from state provider. Basically, this use state value makes the product as a children component. So once it's children component, it can access the data from the parent component. That is the first thing we are doing in the state provider. We are making everything children whenever we use this state provider that we are using in the context. So basically, to pull the information, we'll be using this. So I'm using use state value. So once you are importing this, now you can write the code in the function. So here dispatch means it's a alternative name for action. Okay, it's alternative name for action, like basically state and action. We are using here state and dispatch. So what this dispatch will do, this is a like JavaScript object that will have a type feature. So we'll be seeing how to do that. So add to basket, we have to create the function. So when we click on add to basket, we have to change the state. That means we are introducing a new product data into the state. So for that we have to use this action, that is the dispatch method. So dispatch, I said it has something called item. Let me show you item. Type. First we have to use type, and then the type will be the name that you want to give to the function that you want to perform. So that if you are having more functions, like now we will having add to basket, in future we'll have remove from basket. So to do all this we have to give it a type, so that we can use the switch cases inside the reducer.js and then do the necessary functioning. So once I did this, and now I'll give the item that I want to pull. The item means the data that I want to push into the data layer. So this will be an object of ID, type image, price will be price, and then rating will be rating. So yeah. So now with this, we have done the add to basket. Okay, here comma. So we have wrote the code in product.js. So we have to target this add to basket in reducer.js. So we'll use the switch case over here. Since I said you, once we set up the data layer, we can use in any children node. So basically I'm importing the use state value, and then making this as a children, I can access the data layer that has been set up. So we'll see how to do this in reducer. As I said, we'll be providing a type inside product.js. So we'll be accessing the switch case with that type. So the first type, the case will be add to basket. And then we have to return an object, like return the total data that is present inside the data layer. So in this reducer, it's like what we say, it is like immutable. The state processed by the reducer function is immutable. So incoming state coming in as an argument is never directly changed. Reducer function has to return a completely new state object. So that's why we'll be returning the complete new object over here, as it is immutable. So I'll be returning the previous state. This spread operator does that. What it does is that it will like return the complete previous state that we are using, and then change the necessary I want to do. So in the basket, I will add the product. Initially it will be state.basket only, and then I'll add it with action.item. So basically the basket remains as it is, but I am adding an additional item to the basket. So basically I'm adding a new product details to the data layer. So this is what add to basket does. Okay, there is no need to have a semicolon over here, and then need to have a colon over here. So with this, we have completed the add to basket functionality. So when we click on add to basket, how to, like, as you can see over here, when we click on add to basket, how to like make this number update dynamically the items in the basket. So we'll see how to do that. So for that, we have to go to header.js, and inside header.js, as you can see over here, instead of sending a number like 0, I want to have the number of items that are present inside the data layer. So for this, I have to import the necessary things. So once I'm importing this, I'm making this as a child component so that I can access information from the data layer. So once I can import this, I can now like make like I can import the data layer also. I'll be importing the basket and then the dispatch method. From useStateValue. So this is basically I am destructuring the array that is present in useStateValue and importing basket and dispatch. So now the simple thing here is we want to, like, the basket has product details. So if there are 2 products inside the basket, there will be 2 objects with product details. So if you want to get the number of items present in, we just want the basket length. So that is what we'll be doing here. We'll simply say basket.length. Since it is JavaScript, we have to use curly braces. So yeah. So with this, we can see the number getting affected. So there is an error. Object is not iterable. Cannot read property symbol.iterator. So inside header, there is a 17 stack frames were collapsed. So I fixed the error. So where the error came is that in state provider.js, like there is a typo. Instead of initial state, I have typed initial state. So you have to change their initial state, and then also inside the reducer you have to change initial state. So now, like as I said before, once we set up the data layer, we can use the data from the data layer from any component. So basically, we have to set up parent level data layer architecture where from the parent level all the components. So what is the parent component? Parent component is app. So once we set the app.js with this data layer, then we can access everything from the children. Okay, right? So that is what I will be doing now. Go to index.js and add these lines of code. Add these 2 lines of code. You have to import reducer and initial state from reducer, state provider from state provider, and inside and above app.js include these 3 lines of code. Like we are setting up the state provider with initial state this, and then the reducer. So once we do this, and you have to change the typos, go to the page, and then once you refresh, you can see, like when you click on add to basket, it is getting updated. It is getting updated, right? But when we go to checkout, we can't see the products. So now what we have to do is that we have to bring the products data from the data layer, and also the data of amount and then the number of items from the data layer. So that we'll see in the next video. In this video, we'll see like when we click on add to basket, the items are getting updated, but we can't see the products that I added to the data layer. So we'll see how to retrieve them. So first, basically what we'll do is we will go to checkout.js, and here, like we have to map, like we have to import the dispatch and state using the state provider useStateValue, and then map through all the products that are present in the array. So that if there are 3 products, we want 3 checkout products to get rendered. If the basket has 4 items, then we want 4 to get rendered. So how to do that? Basically, I'll be deleting all of them, and then here it is. So since I'll be using the map function that the JavaScript provides me, so that we can map through each and every item of the array. I'll be creating a JavaScript object basket.map. So to use this basket, we have to import it, right? So I'll be importing now. I'll be importing the use state value from state provider. So once I import this, now I can use the state and dispatch to get my basket object destructuring and then dispatch. So now I have set up my data layer over here. Now I can use this, like I can use the basket and call the map function. So what this does, it will loop through each and every item. So we loop through each and every item, and then we can call the checkout product. With these props, so we can send the ID as item.id. When we are sending props, I said we'll use equals to. So it will be item.id. So as this is a JavaScript object, it should be inside curly braces. So there shouldn't be any commas or colons when we are dealing with the attributes of the custom component. It should be item.title. Image will be item.image. And then price will be item.price. And then rating will be item.rating. So once we send the props, like for example, if the basket had 4 items, it will loop through 4 times, and then we'll get 4 checkout products with the dynamic data. So we'll check out the feature, is it working or not. To refresh it, so yeah, we have done everything. Okay, there is a error over here. Using material UI core. So in the checkout, we aren't using any material UI, right? So I'll delete this. So yeah. Once I refresh it, I'll add these items to the basket. When I go to my checkout page, you can see still I'm getting the same items. Like I'm getting same item, but like I'm getting the number of items, but I'm getting the same item rather than getting different items. So we'll see what happened there. So basically the error is inside the checkout product.js, we are still using the custom, like the hard coded data only. So we have to first destructure the array. So inside checkout.js, I have sent the data through props. Now I have to get hold of these props. So I'll be doing that inside checkout product.js. I should get ID, image, rating. So once I get this, like I can use it instead of source, I can send the image. Instead of this, I can send the title. There it will be price. And here, like it would be the same process that we did for the product.js thing. So I'll copy that. inside product.js, I have basically created an array, so we can use that, right? No need any spaces over here. So yeah. So now as you can see, I'll refresh the page and then add the items to my basket. I'll add this one, I'll add this, I'll add this, and then this. Now let us see whether the products are appearing. So yeah, as you can see, we can see the products that we added to the cart. I'll refresh it and again add a few products. This. So I've added 3 of them and then 1 and 2. Yeah, that's cool. So now we have updated the header part and also did add to cart functionality. So now we want to update the price over here and also remove from cart functionality. So we'll see how to implement that thing. So yeah, so first we have to go to subtotal.js. The basic step is to like import the use state value in subtotal.js. I'll import the use state value. Now, how to get the total basket total? So I have said that I will implement all the application level code in reducer.js. So in the selector section, so we'll get the total basket over here. Like we will get the total amount that the basket contains. So how to do that? So here we have basically export. Get basket total will be the object name, the constant name. So actually basically we have to go through the basket. So what we have to return? We have to return the basket total amount of price that is present in the basket, the combination of all the products. So this is the way to do that. So what this line of code does is that this reduce function will have 2 arguments. One is amount, that is the accumulator, and then the current amount, the current item. So the accumulator keeps on increasing. So as you can see, item.price plus amount. So we are incrementing the amount every time with item.price, and this will work as the second parameter. So here like the question mark symbol for any error handling like that. So this is how we'll get the total basket. So inside the subtotal.js, we'll also be importing the get total basket. So now I'll import get basket total from reducer. So once we get that, like now we can initiate we can get the hold of the basket that is in our data layer with the dispatch function. Oh, yeah. So now like there is error. Okay, we are using this inside the return function. We have to use inside the function. So yeah, with that we can solve the error. So here instead of value, we want instead of 0 we want the total basket value, right? So get basket total, and then we'll be sending the basket. So as you can see over here, it needs a first argument of basket. We'll be sending that, and also the number of items. Like instead of 0 items, we want the total value, right? So here we'll be using, instead of 0, basket dot length, and then here we'll be using the value that is present in the props. So with this we can see the changes. So there's an error over here. So yeah, so I'll be adding this one product of book, this thing, and this, and then a TV. As you can open, now you can see like we are seeing 4 items and then the price over here. If you go back and then add some more items, like you can see the price getting updated. So like with this we have completed the add to basket and also all the amount, and then getting the number of items get update dynamically. So now in the next video we'll see how to implement the remove from basket functionality. So once we click on remove from basket, the items over here, and here should get updated, and also in the data layer the product should get deleted. So we'll see that in the next video. So now we'll see how to implement remove from basket functionality. So similarly, as we did to add to basket, we'll be creating a remove from basket function and then send it to the type that will get hold in the reducer selector. So we'll do that. We have to go to checkout product.js. Yeah. So once we click on remove from basket, on click we should have a calling a function that is remove from basket. So I can create the function over here. I have to import the necessary things. From state provider. So it's the boilerplate code. You'll get used to it whenever when you start building 1 or 2 projects, you'll get used to it quickly. So this is all the basic process that we'll repeat whenever we want to do a functionality. So it will be a square brackets and then get hold of the basket and then the dispatch method. So once we did that, we can get hold of the dispatch method when this function is called, that is remove from basket. This will be this operator. So the type will be, so you have to call the dispatch function. The type will be of remove from basket. And then ID will be ID. So basically to remove from basket, we need to send only the ID. So based on the ID, we can remove from the basket. So just this is what we have to do inside checkout.js, and then the remaining code will be dealing in the reducer.js. So we have to create a new case. Case will be remove from basket. And then, so one thing you have to remember, when we are deleting an element by ID, so for example, this as a specific ID, so we are adding 5 elements to the basket. So when we click on one of them, like remove from basket, everything will get deleted, right? So once we click on remove from basket, everything will get deleted. Since all the items that are present in the basket are of the same ID, everything will be deleted. So we want to see the ID that matches the action.id. So that we'll see how to do. Like we have to write the if else statement. So once we go into the remove from basket, we'll create a const variable index to store the index. State dot basket dot id dot find index. So basically this will be helping us to find the index. So the index should be, we will take the basket item and it will return basket item dot id is equals to action dot id. So we have got the index. So now we'll create a let new basket, the previous basket itself. So if index is greater than or equals to 0, new basket dot splice. So what this does is, the splice is a method that we can use in the JavaScript objects. So basically it will remove the index, the element with the index that we are sending over here, and it will return the in place will be true if we present 1. That means the new basket will be updated after deleting the index. So this is what index if greater than 0. If the index is not available, like else we have to return an error, right? We have to do the error handling. Else we have to warn, console.warn like can't remove product. ID as, can use a dollar symbol for extraction. Action.id. So this will, as this is a JavaScript project, we have to use curly braces. Okay. Yeah. As it's not in the basket. So yeah, with this we can warn it. And then we have to return the new basket, right? So as I said, the dispatch method is immutable. We have to always return a complete new object. So I'll be returning the previous state with basket as my new basket. And then also we have to give a default case. If nothing is like the default, it is a good programming practice. The default is simply return state. So with this we can perform the, so there is an error else expected colon. So it's giving an error like if. So it is a silly error that it is the naming mistake. So yeah, this error should go. Yeah, it is gone. So now we can like implement, we can see the functionality whether it's working or not. So in tshop, I'm going to add the items to my basket. I'll go here. Like I'm going to click on remove from basket. Yeah, as you can see, it got removed and the price get updated dynamically, because as you can see inside subtotal.js, this will, as this is a state variable, like it keeps on updating every time dynamically. So basically we are using the basket and then getting the data. So once we click on remove from basket, the basket gets updated. So therefore all the child components also gets updated. So this is the beauty of React. We can do everything in an easy way. So like to sum up, like basically what we have did is that we created add to basket, remove from basket functionality, and to see the data gets updated dynamically using the data layer wherever needed. So we can add elements to the basket and then remove them. The splice is working, only the item with the action ID and the index ID is getting deleted. We remove from basket. As you can see, everything is working simply fine, and also the element is getting updated dynamically. So with this, we completed the state properties that we want to discuss with to add the functionality to our page, and then we are left out with the login page, authentication to get sign in, and then deploying our app. So we'll see these things in the next coming videos. In this video, we'll see how to create user authentication using Firebase. So until now, we have created the app where we can add to basket functionality. We can go to the checkout page, see the products that are present in our basket, remove from basket, and also there is a subtotal section over here that gets updated dynamically. So basically, we have completed the basic functionality of e-commerce website. And now the remaining part is sign in, so that the user can sign in through their username and password. So we'll implement this using Firebase. So first thing, you have to go to the Firebase website, firebase.google.com, and you will see this screen. So you have to sign in with your Google account. So I got signed in with my account. So once you sign in, go here, there is a button called Go to Console. Click on that button and then click Add Project. So now you are going to create a new project. We have to give our project a name. I'll give it as eShop. Click on Continue. And then enable the Google Analytics for this project. Yes, you have to enable it, and then continue. So after that, we have to select an account, or we can create a new account. Basically, we can do any of the thing. So we can use a default account for Firebase and then create the project. So it will take some time. So once the project is created, now we have to create a login page. So once we click on sign in, we want a login page with our username and password. So for that, it's purely HTML and CSS. So I've already written down the code. You can go into login.js and you can see the code. I have created a class name called login, and I have used the React router down to link it with the login page. So this should be login over here. Okay, this is it. So here there is a sign up division with login container with sign up, and there is a form for email and password. And then by signing in, you can there is a small notice over here, and then there is a button for create your account and also a sign in button. So I have used the use state hook over here. I have imported the use state. Okay, we can I have imported the use state over here from React, and then I have used the email and set email for the use state. So what does this use state does is, whenever we type something in the form, for example, if we take email input, when we type something, every time you type a single alphabet, the value inside the email container, that is the input, it should get updated dynamically. So that is what a use state hook does. Whenever you keep on typing, it automatically gets updated every time, and that is done using the set email function. So this set email will take the input e, and through e.target.value, we can get the value of the email that we are typing. So this is basically the boilerplate that you have to do whenever you deal with forms in React. So yeah, for password also the same thing. Here the type will be password, so that when you are typing something, no one can see it. So as you can go to header.js, here you have to link it to the login section when you click on the hello guest sign in division, and when you go to app.js, you have to implement the route over here in the switch condition inside the switch component, so that it renders the login page. And then the login.css, if you can check login.css over here. So basically this is login.js, and then you go to login.css, you can see the styles basically we used over here. Register button, sign in button, login container, paragraph, form, input, form, h5. So everything you can basically follow the styles over here. It's simple basic CSS and HTML. So once we do that, when you click on sign in, you will see this page that we implemented using HTML and CSS. So when we click on email and password and click on sign in, it has to check to the database whether the email and password are already created or not, and then sign in. If not, you have to create your eShop account. So we'll see how to do that using this Firebase. So yeah, once the project is ready, you can click on continue. Now here, we have to go to project overview, go to project settings. So first thing we have to do is go to the Firestore database. And we have to create a new database to store the user's email and passwords, right? So that's why we'll be going to the Firestore database. And then here you can see the option called create database. So I'll create the database over here and start in test mode. Click on start in test mode because we are testing the project. That's why. Next. Then you can basically and use the default thing, no problem. Enable. It will take some time and then we are ready to go. So once this is done, we are ready with the database. Our database is ready, and then we can select authentication from the side panel over here, and then choose the type of authentication that we need. So basically, we'll be choosing email or password type of authentication. Yeah. So once it's done, go to the authentication section over here, and here you can go to get started. So we have to enable this thing, email or password type of authentication. Click on the pen edit configuration symbol over here, enable it, then yeah, save. So our email and password is enabled. So once you click save, yeah, we saved it, it's enabled. And then now the next step to do is that we have to add Firebase to the web app, like to our Visual Studio Code. For that, I have to go to the project settings. So here you can see 3 icons. We have to create a web app in the project so that we can integrate with our Visual Studio Code. There is a third icon over here. Click on the third icon. And then we have to give the app name. I'll give it as eShop. Check out this thing. Yeah, register app. So until this gets completed, now what we'll do is we'll import some basic required Firebase tools that we need for the project. So I will install npm install. -g is a flag to install everything properly. Firebase tools, Firebase, and Firebase login. So it is happening. So in the meantime, okay, you have to click next, everything over here. Yeah, this is for the deploy purpose. We'll see this in the next video where we have to deploy the final step is to deploy our web application onto the online platform so that we can share the link to anyone. So first continue to console. So now here in the SDK setup and configuration, go to config and save everything. Like this is the important thing that sets up this database and app to your app that you are building locally. So copy this. I'm copying it over here. Go to your Visual Studio Code and create a file named firebase.js. And save the copied code over here. You can remove the comments. It's not required. So once you have to go to this thing. We'll see whether the npm modules are installed or not. That is taking some more time. We'll wait for it. So yeah. So now the basic code what we'll write over here is we have to import Firebase from the package that we installed using npm, right? So I'll import that. Import Firebase from Firebase. and then I'll be creating a Firebase app. Const Firebase app Firebase dot initialize app. And then we'll be passing over this object, the Firebase config object inside the initialize app parameters. So after that, we have to create a constant database for storing the information of Firebase. And then we have to create an authentication object so that we can use it for authentication purpose. Firebase provides this object for us. So this is basically the boilerplate code when you use your Firebase for set authentication and deployment. So to use this DB and auth, we have to export them. So it's actually Firebase app. Yeah. So now we can export DB and auth. So with this, we completed the basic setup. Let's see whether the packages got installed or not. Okay, they're taking some more time. Let us just wait for them. So meanwhile, we'll write some code. We have to we'll write the code to set up the authentication part. So basically, go to login.js, and then here we'll be importing the auth that we just exported in Firebase. From Firebase, and then once it's implemented, so we can use this inside Firebase. So yeah, so now once we have imported the auth, we'll be using we'll write the logic to implement the authentication. So first thing, we have to create two functions such as register and sign in, so that whenever we click on the button, we can trigger the functions and provide the function with the business logic. So first I will write the function for sign in. I'll write a arrow function. So whenever the basic HTML, what it does is whenever we click on a button, it refreshes the page. But the best practice in React is to avoid the refreshing of page. We have to do everything dynamically, each component should be updated instead of refreshing the page. So for that, I have to do prevent default. So E is the event that will take place after clicking on sign in button. Prevent default. So now, as we imported auth, we have to there is a method inside auth called sign in with email and password that is provided by the Firebase. So we'll use that method. Auth dot we'll use this is the best practice of writing. Sign in with email and password, and then inside we'll send the email and password that we created over here, the constant names which contains the email and password that the user enters. So after that, if this method is successfully executed, then we'll get back something from auth. That is what we have to do with then. We'll be getting back auth. So now, if successfully we have completed the auth, we have to go back to the home page, right? So to go back to the home page, there is a hook called use history. So what does this use history does is, when you can see inside the app.js, when we are working with router DOMs, the routers, all the child components of the routers, where the components that we use inside the router will be present in the use history hook, so that we can access the use history hook for loading back the components that we used already. So I'll be going back to my index.js, sorry, login.js. I'll be importing the use history hook over here. Const history is equals to use history. So once we are done that, I can use history.push, send back to my home, like the router, the home route. It renders the header and the home page. And then if there is an error, we can catch the error. If there is an error, we can alert with an error message. So with this, we have done the sign in part. So how to do the register? So the register is same as sign in. Let me copy paste this. So instead of sign in, it will be register. You have to prevent default. And here, instead of sign in with email and password, we'll have a function called create. Create user with email and password. So instead of sign in, create user. Create user with email and password. So dot then auth. So we can like basically use brackets, or no need to use brackets. Since it is only one argument, no need to use brackets. But if you want to use, then it's your wish. So after this, once the email is created, then if the auth is successful, we will push. Like we have to check whether the auth is successful or not. We don't directly like we don't want the user to directly redirect into the home page. We want to check whether the user is successfully registered or not. So we have to use the if condition. Then we have to use history.push. And then everything here will be the same. So one thing you have to change is on click. Wherever there is a button, like this is the password, like sign in. Yeah, here sign in, on click. On click, you have to trigger the function called sign in. And the create your account button, on click, you have to trigger the button register. So once this is done, so now we'll see whether the, yeah, so we can see all the tools are installed. And then in the firebase.js, we are writing the boilerplate code of our Firebase here. And then we are exporting the auth, and then we are catching the auth in the login.js and creating the two functions to write the business logic for sign in and register. So once we'll check out whether this is working or not, we'll go to our eShop website. So there's error. Cannot find file firebase.js. Okay. So like here we have to rename this, or we can change over here. Instead of this, we can go to login.js and then import Firebase over. So this is loading. I think it is setting the process. Module not found, can't resolve Firebase in. Okay, there is still a source here, firebase.js and Firebase. So we'll do one thing, like can go to firebase.js and then we can export it, import Firebase from Firebase. So it should be in small letters. So basically the error, whenever you get an error, you can use Stack Overflow. So I'll go to login.js and then put Firebase. So yeah, that's good. So the problem was, as we installed the Firebase tools and Firebase login in a single command, it was not installed properly. So what I recommend you to do is install each and every thing separately, like npm i Firebase login, npm i Firebase tools, and then npm i Firebase, so that it should work. And then yeah, once this is done, we'll check whether the app is working or not. I'll refresh the page. We'll go to sign in, and like I'll do the test email, test@gmail.com. Then password, you can give any short password. Just click on. First, I will check by clicking on sign in. Once I click on sign in, you can see there is an error message that is throwing. There is no user record corresponding to this identifier. The user may have been deleted. So it checks the database that the Firebase has and then checks whether the user is present or not. So since the user is not present, we can create our eShop account. So I'm clicking on create your eShop account. Once it is done, it is redirecting. Since I gave a very short password, there is a alert message like change your password. It's fine for now. You can see that we are getting redirected into the home page. So now I'll go to the same test@gmail.com and I'll check whether we are getting an error message when we click on check or create your eShop account or not. So there's the error message that the email address is already in use by another account. So you can use sign in so that we can sign in with the account. So this is how you can create your authentication using Firebase. You can also perform various functions like whether the user is signed in, you can when he wants to sign out, he can sign out, and you can only render the home page whenever the user is signed in. So you can create various things. You can check the Firebase documentation for that, and also you can get the user email whenever he clicks on sign in and then signs in with the account that is present in the database. Yeah, so these are all the other functionalities that you can take as challenges and then finish it. So with this, we are going into the final step of our project, that is deploying our app, that we'll see in the next video. So we are into the final step of our website building, the e-commerce website, that is to deploy our project online. So how to do that? So basically you have to follow only 3 steps: Firebase init, npm run build, and then Firebase deploy. So we'll see that step by step. So I have to be in my project folder over here in eShop, and then I'll be using Firebase init. So we are deploying with the help of Firebase. You can also use other sources such as Heroku, Azure, or many other like WordPress, GoDaddy, something. But I'll prefer Firebase in this video. Firebase init will be my first step. So it will take some time. So I got an error called fail to authenticate because I haven't logged into my Firebase. So I have to click on Firebase login for that. So I'll allow my Firebase to authenticate. It will redirect me to a website. So I'll be logging using this command line interface. Allow. So yeah, we have successfully logged into the Firebase CLI. So now we can go to our terminal and then use this command Firebase init. So click on yes. So it is asking for which Firebase features do you want to set up for this directory. Press space to select features, then enter to confirm it, then enter it to confirm your choices. So basically we have to select and use the the existing project, right? So I'll be using, so basically you have to check whether to use like which thing, real-time database or not, Firestore hosting purposes. So I want like the hosting thing, right? So I'll be selecting my eShop. So it is taking some time. It is enabling the API. We have to select the project which we have set up. Click on enter. Yes. It's creating the database. Yeah, so the init part is successfully done. So then we have to click use this command npm run build. So what this will basically ask is that it will ask React to build your app so that you can run this in production. After the build has completed, type this the Firebase deploy command to finally publish our application on the internet. So I'll first run this npm run build. So this will take some, this is similar to npm start, it will take some time. So once the npm build command gets run successfully, then we'll use the final command Firebase deploy. So once the command gets run successfully, you can see this command like deploy complete project console. So this is the URL where our project got deployed. You can share this URL to your friends and colleagues. So this is the end of the project. Let me click on the URL. So this will take some time, like since this is it have to deploy online, it will take some time to render. So that's why it is not coming right now. So yeah, so with this we complete the deployment of our project using Firebase. I hope in this project you have enjoyed working on this project and learned few React concepts. So let's just wait for some time, like it is deploying to this URL. You can wait for some time and then check the URL again. It will get deployed. So with that, we came to the end of this project. Thank you.